Ito ang balita ngayon. Viral ngayon sa mundo ng social media. Ang di umano'y balitang Senator Mig Zubiri tila matapang na nagsalita at mga senador pumalag sa Kongreso. At eto na nga mga kababayan, sa isang pahayag, tila tahasang sinabi ni Senate President Mig Zubiri na tila gustong ikapo ng Kongreso ang Senado dahil sa ginagawa nilang People Initiative at posible di umanong may mangyayaring pagpasa ng batas na hindi na makokontrol ng Senado. At hindi na nila maprotektahan pa ang interes ng publiko dahil 2/3 lamang ng Kongreso kaya nang magsagawa ng pag-amyenda ng isang batas at di na kailangan pa ng mga senador. Sinabi din ito na hindi alam ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos na ang ginagawang People's Initiative ay maaring mabawasan ang kapangyarihan ng Senado. Kaya nagpatawag si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos ng pagpupulong kasama ang ilang senador at ilang congressman sa Malacanang. At doon, tinalakay nila ang mga isyu patungkol sa kumakalat na People's Initiative at ang pag-amenda ng konstitusyon. Sa nangyaring pagpupulong, pinag-utos ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos na pangunahan ng Senado ang pagtalakay sa pag-amyenda ng economic provision. Binigyang linaw din ni Senate President Mig Zubiri na tanging economic provision lamang ang kanilang tatalakayin sa Senado at hindi kasama ang term limits ng mga politiko at change of government. Dagdag pa nito, huwag na umanong maglagay pa ng kung ano-anong amendments o pagbabago na alam nating ikagagalit ng taong bayan. Ngayon, personal na inihain ni Senate President Mig Zubiri ang resolusyon both houses number 6 na nagtutulak para sa pag-amyenda ng ilang economic provision ng saligang batas, particular na sa mga bahagi na nagbabawal sa mga 100% foreign ownership sa mga public utility, educational institution at advertising agency sa bansa para dagdagan ng katagang at least otherwise provided by law. Sa ngalan ng iba yung paglago na ekonomiya ng Pilipinas, tiniyak din ni Senate President Mig Zubiri sa publiko na magiging maingat at patas ang Senado sa pagre-review ng economic provision ng konstitusyon ng Pilipinas. Lumabas nga ang balitang ito, hindi naman mapigilan ng marami sa ating mga kababayan na magbigay ng kanilang hinaing at komento sa mundo ng social media. At ayon pa sa kanila, yan po Senate President, kayo na ang umakto, huwag nyo na pong pabayaan na mawala ng papel ang Senado sa gusto ng Congress at kagustuhan lang ng ilang kongresista. I-priority nyo po ang kapakanan ng taong bayan. Di umatake kayo, maganda nga yan at mag-debate kayo para may mapagkasunduan na punto. Ang hirap sa inyo. Noon pa may pinasana sa Senado tungkol sa tsa-tsa, pero nilagay nyo lang drawer. Dapat talaga maamyendahan ng batas, lalo na sa economic provision. Kita niya na ang dami ng nag-alisa na kumpanya sa China. Bakit di lumipat sa atin? Sa Vietnam at Thailand lumipat. Dapat talaga mabago ang batas, lalo na sa foreign direct investment. Puro na lang kasi kontra ng kontra yung iba. Puro pasikat lang naman. Dapat may info drive kung ano ang babaguhin sa ating konstitusyon. Paglaban ng katwiran para sa karapatan ng mamamayang Pilipino. Dahil kawawa ang future Filipino generation, huwag sayangin ang mga bayani na nagbuhis ng dugo para sa ating kalayaan. Maawa po kayo sa mamamayang Pilipino. End quote.
Mga Lods, naniniwala ba kayo dito? Panoorin, House Majority Leader Erwin Tulfo nanindigang walang kinalaman si Speaker Romualdez sa itinutulak na People's Initiative. Pinabulaanan din ito na may plano ang liderato na nagawing regalo kay Pangulong Marcos Jr. ang charter change sa kanyang SONA. Naniniwala ba kayo mga Lods na walang kinalaman si Romualdez? Di ba? Sa People's Initiative na pinaggagawa ngayon, sa mga bayaran na ginagawa ngayon. Sa totoo lang, sino ba ang namimigay ng mga ayuda ngayon? 'Di ba? Sino ba ang nangmumudmod, 'di ba, ng pera, no? And at the same time, namimigay ng ayuda. Sabi pa nga ni John Magno, 'di ba? Incentive. Grabe. Talagang pinuprotektahan talaga nila, no, si Speaker Romualdez. And sa nakikita nyo ngayon, no, kumbaga, yung mga kongresista niya ang gumagalaw, di ba? Si Romualdez tahimik lang. Pero meron na palang ginagawang mga ganyan. And Senator Amy mismo ang nagsabi. Diba? Huwag nyo nang utuin ang mga tao, huwag nyo nang lukuhin ang mga tao. Ngayon na hindi nagustuhan ng mga tao, yung People's Initiative nyo. So ang ginagawa nyo ngayon, hugas kamay, no? Protektahan na naman si Speaker. Ganyan kayo di ba? Pag hindi nagustuhan ng tao, pag binabatikos ng tao, hindi nyo man lang sinasagot. Di ba? Mas pinoprotektahan nyo, no, ang speaker nyo. So kung hindi ang Congress, di ba? At kung hindi si Romualdez ang may pakana ng mga ganyan, sino? Di ba? Kitang-kita na, sabi nga ni Mig Zubiri, nagka-misunderstanding pa nga daw sila ni Speaker about that Kasi pinupush no ng lower house no yung Chacha or People's Initiative na minando na ni President na ang Senado ang tatalakay at magsisimula ng charter change. Diyos ko, tulpo. Bistadong-bistado na kayo, pero grabe, pinoprotektahan nyo pa rin. Galing no? Sobrang galing talaga. Sana naman wag nyong bilugin ang tao. Di ba? Wag nyong utuin ang tao. Di ba? Kung kayo ang may pasimuno niyan, sabihin nyo na lang. Hindi yung ginagawa nyo pang tanga ang mga tao.
Any proposal to amend or revise the Constitution must identify the provisions being changed, containing their full text, but most importantly, must be forthcoming on the impact, effect, and true intention behind the proposed changes. Only then can they be presented for approval to the people, our sovereign, from whom all powers emanate. The proposal subject of the People's Initiative could have led, or could lead, rather, to a constitutional crisis, destabilizing our bicameralism and upsetting the systems of checks and balances. While the Senate is vehemently opposed to a dilution of its participation in the task of reviewing the Constitution, we exercised all restraint because in any conflict, it is always the people who stand to suffer the most. For this reason, I, together with the leadership, Senate President Pro Temp Loren Legarda, met with President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and the leadership of the House of Representatives on January 11 before Divan de Honor in order to raise concerns on the proposed amendment contained in the People's Initiative. The President agreed with us that the proposal was too divisive and asked the Senate to instead take the lead in reviewing the economic provisions of the Constitution. In this way, we can preserve our bicameral nature of legislation. While the Constitution must be reviewed in keeping with the demands of the present and possibilities of the future, we believe that we must first exhaust all avenues open to us through policy making and legislation. That is precisely what the Senate did when we enacted amendments to the Public Services Act and liberalized many industries to attract foreign investments, encourage competition, and improve the delivery of basic services to our countrymen. The Senate stands firm behind the Public Services Act as a landmark piece of legislation that reforms our economic landscape. We, however, and I'd like to repeat, we, however, recognize that the case assailing the Constitution of Republic Act number 11659 or the amendments to the Public Services Act is currently pending before the Supreme Court. As such, the Senate commits that it will work with the House of Representatives to remove all doubts on the constitutionality of the law by ensuring that the liberalized policies contained in the Public Services Act can be implemented and relied on by investors as an enduring policy. It is only in this respect the Senate can agree to modify the Constitution. The framers of the Constitution deliberately ensured that modifying it will be an arduous process, never to be taken lightly. We wish to assure the people that in reviewing the economic provisions of the Constitution, we will be circumspect. we are guided by the knowledge that our sovereign is watching and that the work we should do represents no interest other than the people's interest. Nakipag-meeting po ako kay Presidente noong Tuesday, and I raised the alarm about the People's Initiative. He was very gracious enough to meet with me, and we discussed how we can diffuse the situation. In fairness to the President, hindi niya po alam yung People's Initiative language was to diminish the powers of the Senate. And after that, he asked me to meet with the Speaker. We met with the Speaker. I met with him on Tuesday evening, after which we had lively and vigorous debate on the issue. And we all decided to meet with the President once again at 3 p.m. in Malaking last Thursday. In that meeting, we were there early, so we met together with Senator Lauren Legarda. Kasama po namin si Congressman Sandro Marcos, Sap Anton Lagdameo, and the Speaker and myself. In that meeting, we discussed the scenarios. And of course, I defended the position of the Senate na talagang malabo yan kasi as far as we're concerned, their plan is unconstitutional because we are a bicameral system of government. Kaya, nung pagkita po natin kay Presidente, we decided, the President, first of all, and I'd like to thank the President for his comment that the PI is too divisive, and even mentioned news items from the major networks that he watched the night before. At sabi, nagkakagulo na, bakit nagkakaganyan, may bayaran, and he even said na, and I thank the President for this, because he even said na, dati ako senador. Bilang dating senador, hindi din ako papayag na ma-undermine o ma-diminish ang kapangyarihan ng Senado sa pagdating ng usaping bicameralism or bicameral form of government. So maganda po ang direksyon ng Pangulo. And ang sabi niya sa akin at kay Speaker, sabi niya, why doesn't the Senate take the lead in the discussions of the economic provisions, and then you approve your version which the House can adopt? So that was the position of the President. Para hindi na tayo maglalagay pa kung ano-ano pang mga amendments na sa tingin natin ay magagalit ang taong bayan. So that was quite clear in the meeting, and that's why in the Van de Honor, medyo smiling na po kami ng Speaker of the House at ang Presidente ng Senado, because we were able to resolve that very big issue. That night, nag-meeting po kami with the senators. We had about 14 senators that met that night, and we discussed the possibilities. Nakuha ko naman po yung full support ng majority members of the Senate. We were also there. We also had a member of the minority there, Senator Risa Ontiveros. And of course, we said to her that we know their position, we will respect their position, but I'm being transparent. As the Senate President, I want to be transparent that these discussions will be taking place once the Senate resumes on January 22. At ang totoo dyan, talaga magkakaroon ng constitutional crisis. Hindi po talaga papayag. Alam mo, lahat ng mga kasamahan ko, atat na umatake. At sabi ko sa kanila, pag lumaban tayo, there's a point of no return. Kasi kung magkakainitan ng dugo ang House and Senate, paano natin may papasa yung mga batas natin? Kung ayaw mo makipag-usap sa congressman, how do we do the bicameral conferences?